0, 1. Let's get started.
Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to part 2 of my exploration of the Titan Class Tidal Wave. And we're back in an external location. There's another quick pan for you before we go into it. Really just to pick up on a couple of points from the first video, where I've now had time to have a little look around the figure. And one of the comments I made was around the head rotation, which is still great, but he does actually have some upwards and downward movement. It's locked into place, you can just see there. So you have to click it slightly, and you can get some very great upward rotation there. There is an alternative panel that can bring it all the way forward, so you can kind of go like this if you wanted to sort of look down, but possibly why would you? Yeah, so again, this first part is just a little bit of a, now it won't fit back in, obviously. I'll deal with that shortly. So it might be a bit easy just to sort of leave it untabbed on that flat bit, so you still get rotation, but when he's in robot mode, maybe leave him like that. So let's come back to over here. Also, I had some trouble getting the wrist, to get the waist rotation, and you really do need to make sure that the flaps are up to give you access to the joint. Sorry, I'm trying to show you from a hands-free perspective. It will get better when we move back to the review station for the Dark Fleet. But yeah, so there is wrist rotation. It is on a ratchet, so it does take quite a bit of maneuvering. And another thing that came up a couple of times in questions that people asked was around the hand joints. So you do have some maneuverability in the fingers and also in the other part of the hand, so it can sort of close there. And indeed the thumb can also articulate as well. So you can shape it slightly. Keep that together for now. And when you open it up, you've got the weapon there, and that is the same on both sides of the arms. So again, actually even more articulated than I thought the first time around. And yeah, let's get him out of this robot mode and let's see what he looks like as the Dark Fleet. Okay, so here we are now with the Dark Fleet all transformed into their component parts, and I'm back in the review station because hopefully the sound quality will be better and I've got a bit more control over the ambient sound. First of all, I'm going to say I really enjoyed this transformation overall, and I'll caveat that with a reason why in a second. Tidal Wave transforms, and I mean, yes, okay, we have to accept he's a parts former to an extent, because he breaks down into parts because he has 3 component segments that merge and merge again. So yeah, we get that that's the case. But other than that, the component part element of this is terrific, but with one minor caveat to that, which is this. Now, I don't know what we're calling the various different things. This is, I think, some kind of hovercraft type lander with the slopey bits. What am I calling this? Ramps. Thank you, language. Come back to me. Yeah, so ramps to allow access on and off. I've put it on these rather than on a turntable just because it gives me a bit of elevation, which is, I think, useful considering what these look like. I'm also going to be quite careful with this one because this is the one that causes me the problems. This is the one that has the worst connection I have ever seen in any kind of transformer at all, but for a Titan class, it's a problem for me. And it wouldn't have been that big a deal to fix because, in fairness, one of the other component parts has the same connectivity. But it works. In this one, unless I'm doing something wrong, and if I am, let me know in the comments, please. It's a real pain in the posterior, okay? But basically, this is comprised, well, you can probably see which elements it's comprised of, but it really holds together poorly, and I'll show you that at the very end of this bit of it. But let me take you around the lander to start with. So we've got the Decepticon insignia there. There are some, you can see there's some stress marks on there already, and I don't know where from because it hasn't been subjected to any. Some lovely detailing. I love the silver and purple motif and the gun metal colouring around the edges. That is fantastic, especially pulled out with some of this the sort of sunstreaker-esque gold yellow around the sides there. And we also have some orange decals there along the top. There is some fantastic detailing, as you can see here, along the sides. We've got these fins which are adjustable. They're adjustable here at the side. It isn't symmetrical, so we've got, which I always like, because it's I think that always makes it much more interesting. So we can see the detailing on each side is different. We've got these 2 command bays or pilot areas here, also asymmetrical, which I love. Excuse the dog barking there, he was getting excited about Tidal Wave being in the house. We take a little turn around the side. You can see there seems to be some now here we go, you see, here we go. I don't need to show you at the end because it's done it. These are the clips holding it together, and this is my frustration. So it's just some lovely detailing on the inside of the inside here, but look at the, you can see how much purchase that clip gives you. Do you see that? None. And there are no other tabs anywhere along it. I've looked, unless I'm missing it, and if I am, someone please scream if I've missed something in the instructions. But it's these 2 tabs that are supposed to grip it. And let me assure you right now, they will hold as long as you don't do anything with it. Don't move it, don't touch it, don't look at it, and it will stay together. Otherwise, you're knackered the minute you try and do anything with it. So this, despite looking really great, is a real problem. The underside looks like that, so you've got some turrety bits. You have got wheels here, so it can actually roll. I won't down, there's, sorry, you can't see, it's got wheels at all key junctures. I'd have liked something here that could have connected just to hold it together. It's my only gripe. I think it looks fantastic. We go around the back end, you've got these wonderful thrusters here. You know, I think as an entity, not looking to be over dramatic, but as an entity, I think, as a vehicle, I think this is terrific. I love it. Unfortunately, it doesn't love itself, so it doesn't want to stay together, which is unfortunate. But all in all, this aspect overall great, but for me, the lack of connectivity between the 2 parts makes it the weaker element. So from this sort of hovercraft lander, let's take a look at what I lovingly refer to as the broadside element, which is the aircraft carrier. And here it is. So here we have the, I think, frankly, wonderful looking aircraft carrier mode of the Dark Fleet. Oh, I've just noticed this has clipped down slightly. I think it should be slightly higher. It looks askew. Why isn't it all the way up? There we go. That's an easy fix. Heart failure. So this one, again, it's the arms, and it conjoins in exactly the same way as the hovercraft lander mode, but this actually holds in place. At least it has done so far. So touch wood, it stays that way. I love this. I love it from its simplicity and also its scale. I love the detailing. I love how we have this takeoff and landing strip here. This is a section that extends out, folds out really, but extends out to continue that off the edge. We have the main holding area here with the big Decepticon logo on it, and we have the command section here, and the captain, the bridge, etc, etc. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It doesn't, so let's take a proper aerial look at it. I love the lighting effects, the landing lights, all of that there. I love some of the exposed panels that we've got here and there. You can see them here and here, and around. You can see that again better from this angle. There are some mini comm ports there, which is nice. We'll go in a little bit closer for the actually for the bridge itself. But it has sort of US, for G.I. Joe fans, it has sort of a USS flag vibe to it. It does. I mean, obviously, you could put some mini bots on here. You couldn't really get away with anything huge. But I'll tell you what does work. If you've got the Nemesis, Titan Class Nemesis, which I do have, and I should have thought to bring them down. Nemesis, the character, she I should say, don't want to misgender. That robot comes with a series of small seekers, which store in both spaceship mode and robot mode, and actually they probably scale really well with this, which means that the Titans are pretty much in scale with each other. Does it scale in Transformers is always complicated. Now, I'll give you this, it doesn't have much going on the sides, and a great big cavity here. Although, to be fair, some ships do have things like that. It could be like a docking area, or an airlock section for such stuff. I've made a conscious aesthetic choice to fold these, these are the thumbs, to fold these up. I don't know if you can see that, to sort of facilitate what I think is easy flow. The instructions imply that you leave it like that, which does leave you the guns, but I'd rather think, well, actually, let's have them that up. It doesn't really cover the guns, and then if you deploy the guns, you can lower the thumbs down at that point. But that's just an aesthetic choice that I've made. It's yours. You do what you like. So let's go around the other side. There's only really hinges at this end. Although, to be fair, they do look a little bit like vents, and you've got some propellers down here, which is a very nice touch. They're small, but they're there. Again, there's not really much in the way of excessive detailing there. You can see the underside. We do again have wheels, so that we can roll this one along, should we wish to. And it holds together nicely. It's a solid, it's a really solid, it's a bit of a brick, if I'm honest. But it works. It's a brick that works, so I like it. And from a detailing overview point of view, that's all I have to say about this one, except I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like the Hovercraft, the aesthetics of the Hovercraft lander. I think that's fantastic. My biggest problem with it is, well, it doesn't stay together. So for a transformer for a parts forming transformer that doesn't keep its parts together, that's a problem. Especially at a Titan class price range. But anyway, I'll reflect on that in the fullest time. And besides, I may be doing something wrong. I'd like to think, you know, for a $200 toy, it would be not reliant on two clasps that aren't big enough to hold each other. Right, so let's move on from the aircraft carrier to the battle boat mode. And here it is. Now, I called it the battle boat mode. I don't really know what else you'd call it. It is an absolute leviathan of an assault craft. And again, this is probably the one that required the most in-hand transformations. The other two are sort of built from the arms and the legs of Tidal Wave. This is the torso, the waist, the midriff, and the shoulders. Having a bit of a transformation, and you know what, I absolutely love it. I think this is phenomenal. And so let's get him up. We've got all of these, so I think this might be easy to do as an aerial view in reverse. So look at the surface level detailing here. Again, we have the Decepticon logo front and center, which is nice, so that each of the three components, which I really appreciate, have got the Decepticon logo on it. There's a bit of a thing at the moment, and if you've seen my Autobot stand and some other videos around some of the Autobots, they don't seem to have Autobot logos. Some of them don't have Autobot logos visible all the time, and it's peculiar. So yeah, so we've got these, sorry, can't see what I'm doing. We've got these rotating guns that are also in a marked improvement for what we saw with the Ark. These are guns that can go up and down, and they can rotate, and they look a lot like the Ark's gun, so it makes you wonder. These were additional elements that we had to attach, and they're quite solid. They don't seem to do much in terms of moving around, so I can't do much with it. But again, surface detailing, I'll go around the back in a second, but you can see all this lovely surface detailing. The colour scheme remains a constant. It is again asymmetrical all the way down. I think it does a sterling job. We've got another bridge. The bridge windows are nicely pulled out in black against that purple. We've got these wonderful forward-facing, again, that they look like they've got plenty of windows. They look like they could ram a battleship out of the water. I think this is, from a detail point of view, this is perhaps my favourite There's not an awful lot of side detail. There's some, but not a huge amount. Again, let's take a look at the back. So we're reusing the concept of the hinge joints as vents, but we can't really see anything else. We'll go for an underneath look, and we see again we've got wheels available to us, front and back. This section here, as I mentioned in the part 1 video, is actually I think the recreation, the miniature recreation of this version. You can see some of the design themes through it, but I've left all of the mini Dark Fleet, which is what connects with Megatron and Galvatron. I've left those intact for the time being, because the instructions don't require me to do anything else, and also because I don't want to overcomplicate matters for this video. But with the mini Dark Fleet, I think I'll look at those in the last one, where I think we have to deploy them anyway to have that final sort of city base thing that Tidal Wave goes into. So yeah, so I'll pick that up in part 3, which will be the third and final part of my looking at Tidal Wave as a Titan. But yeah, I think this is absolutely fantastic as a vessel and as a Decepticon vehicle. It's armed to the teeth, and it just screams ship of war, which I absolutely love. And I think you can just see here there's suggestions of torpedo tubes on both sides. It's really lovely. Yeah, I was trying to see if I could see any sort of screw holes anywhere, because sometimes you get to see some screw holes are left and not covered. But to be honest, there's not really been anything that's sort of intruded into my line of sight that's caused me any problems with it. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it all comes together absolutely brilliantly. So I, for one, am sold. Thank you very much, Hasbro. However, these 3 component parts, they do something else. Not only do they form from Tidal Wave, but as you're probably aware, they also combine to become an aquatic battle platform, or a super sea boat, or whatever you want to call it. And I think it flies. It doesn't, obviously I'm not going to try and fly it in the garden, but I think it flies. But again, it's quite large, so I think for the concluding part of this, we may need to rework ourselves back into an outdoor space, possibly. I'll see how big it is, for our final element, which is that floating battle platform. So give me 2 seconds and we shall be right back. And here we are with Tidal Wave combined up and transformed into his battle platform, seafaring, skyfaring, spacefaring mode. Delete as applicable, and this is frankly huge. I've tried various locations to try and get it in shot, and failed dismally. It is massive. It really is. Let me take you for a little journey along it. So that's popped out. So here we go. You can see where he combines in with the various other elements, and it really is. It really is. So I hope sound quality is okay, because I'm conscious that I'm having to do this outside. But it really is a fantastically well held together piece. I think what's fascinating is that the leg sections have a tab that pop out, which enable it to connect to the midsection, which is really frustrating considering that they could have done with a pop out tab to hold themselves together. That is a frustration, because they've clearly done it as part of the design for this mode, so they could have done it for that mode. Now I'm going to just try and pick it up quickly, because I want to show you that it really does hold together really well. I had some reservations about the aircraft carrier section connecting here, because this bit does look a bit like the tabs aren't lining up and these aren't straight, which affects me mentally a little bit. But it does hold together, it does work. You've still got access to all the various position abilities of the cannons. Again, you can angle these, so you've got these torpedoes at the side, cannons, access to all of the command ports. Honest to goodness, this is an amazing final mode for this video, because we know that there is another mode, which is the base mode, and within the base mode there's also those 3 component mini parts which form a mini Dark Fleet, which attach to Megatron, Armada Megatron and Armada Galvatron. So this is this alone worth getting yourselves a Titan class tidal wave? If you're asking me, yes. The component parts are strong, this mode is really, really good, and we know that the robot mode is fantastic as well, and it does have better head articulation than I first realized. It does have waist articulation, as I showed you at the beginning. So yeah, I would say currently all of this is bang for the buck. The fact there's a base mode, well, they do tend to be the less successful modes in these things. So the fact there is one, let's take it as a bonus. When I saw it on the box, I thought, well, actually it's got different levels. I know it's basically our standard robot having a nap kind of layout, but maybe it won't be. Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe, just maybe, we'll be surprised. So anyway, thank you for spending the last however long it's been with me. If you want to see the third part, stick around. Easier if you subscribe to the channel. It'll help me reach my next subscriber milestone. Why not drop a like to the video as well? Apologies for the changing in light quality and sound quality, because I've had to come in and out to capture all of this, but hopefully you're getting some nice bird song as well, because I am. This has been Legacy United Titan Class Tidal Wave. You've been a fantastic audience. I have been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector, and it just remained for me to say that a thing of beauty, and this is a thing of beauty, really is a toy forever. Take care, and I'll see you in a future or a past video. Bye-bye for now.
0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
That's real good.
Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.